Thanks for watching the NCW Life channel. I'm Eric Grandstrom. As we get to know our top 10 candidates, last but certainly not least, we welcome in Sophie Castillo. Sophie, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thanks for taking the time to come by.
Of course.
Congratulations on the top 10.
Thank you.
The daughter of Miguel and Megan. Before I get to my list of questions, I just wanted you to tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I am a senior at Wenatchee High School. I'm an active senior. I do lots of clubs and I play golf, and I'm just super involved with our student body and try to make the most out of high school.
How'd you get into golf?
Well, I have a engineering teacher named Doug Merrill, and I've had him all 4 years, and he's the golf coach. And during my sophomore year, I think, he convinced me to try out for the team. And from then on, I loved it.
Had you ever played golf before that?
I hadn't, so
Wow.
I stepped onto the course.
Wow.
Blindsided.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
He's a great teacher, though.
So what's your handicap now?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It's still the off season.
Yeah, mine is actually playing golf. That's my handicap. Before we get to the rest of these, I want to ask you about that conversation you had with your folks about choosing to run for Apple Blossom and choosing to take this path. Is this something you've thought about for a long time, or was it rather recent? And what did your mom and dad say?
Well, I grew up in the Valley, so the royalty and Apple Blossom has always been a part of my family. And when I was little, actually, I had a onesie that said "Future Apple Blossom Queen," and we have a picture of my mom holding me in it at one of the parades. So it's always been something that we've talked about, but especially in my senior year, since I'm so busy, it was a conversation that my parents had to sit me down and really talk about decisions between making choices on if I want my senior year to be Apple Blossom or if I want it to be golf or even any of the clubs that I do.
So does that mean golf goes if you do this, or?
So I've talked to the coach about it, and he is super willing to work with my schedule and get me on the course whenever I can go. But again, if I get Apple Blossom, that's my #1 priority.
Sure. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Looking at your bio, you're involved in Model United Nations. I've never heard of that. What is that?
Well, it's a pretty new club to Wenatchee High School. One of my friends started it our junior year, I think. It's basically kids getting together and forming committees to do community sessions and talking about current world problems and basically how the UN would handle the problems. So we have caucuses where we talk about issues and basically come up with a resolution for all of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do those conversations carry back home with you, and you have some of those conversations with your folks too?
Yeah. So among doing all my research for one of our conferences, my committee topics were definitely at the dinner table, and I was trying to get multiple perspectives on it because I didn't want to go in there and have this idea that nobody else agreed with. So it was
Did
a
it
dinner
surprise
table.
you, maybe where your folks were, that maybe you didn't think they were a certain way on a certain issue?
I mean, I think I'm a product of my environment, so we see a lot of things the same.
It says in your bio that you're involved with the TED-driven program. For those who don't know, what is that and why are you involved in that?
Okay, so TED Driven is an organization that puts on 2 marathons in the Valley, the Oktoberfest Marathon and the Wenatchee Marathon, and all of the proceeds, or a portion of the proceeds, go to funding cancer research. And Ted, who the organization is named after, was actually a close family friend. And although he did pass away, unfortunately, from cancer, his name still continues to raise awareness and research for other people who can hopefully be saved one day.
It's a great family.
Yeah.
Elementary education and an endorsement with special education. Where does that come from, and why are you choosing that path?
Well, I will be the 3rd generation teacher in my family. My mom's a teacher and my grandma is a retired teacher. And through my senior year especially, I've been working with my mom during like a job shadow situation, and I've just found a passion for teaching, and I've kind of always knew it all along, but finding special education has been something really special that I've found this year, and having a passion for helping those kids is really something that I care about.
It's admirable.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you could have chose anybody in the whole trading places for a day question. You chose your mom.
I did.
Why?
Well, again, she's a teacher and she kind of has my dream job. And I, especially again during my senior year, I've had the opportunity to job shadow her. And seeing the difference that she makes in kids' lives is inspiring, and I really just want to have that special connection that she has with a lot of those kids. So, yeah.
What did your mom think when you told her that, or when she found that out?
She actually cried because I included it a part of my Apple Blossom speech for the top 10 selection, and the first time I gave it to her, she started crying because she knew that I wanted to be a teacher, but she didn't know how much she inspired me in that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What would it mean for you to be part of the Apple Blossom Royal Court?
It would mean, it sounds cliche, but it would mean the world to me. I've grown up in this valley and I've seen the royalty every year, and Apple Blossom has been something really special as part of my childhood. And I just think that Wenatchee is such a huge part of my life, and making it an even bigger part of my life in my senior year, especially before I go off to college, would be super cool. And I just want to be that person that I looked up to when I was little, and I want to have that same special connection with kids who look up to the royalty.
It's Saturday night, February 10th. You're standing there on stage with your gown, and they
Yes.
announce your name as queen. Who do you thank?
I start by thanking my parents. They made me who I am today, and they have given me everything that I have. They've given me my courage, my confidence, my compassion, and everything that I do up to this point is all owed to them.
You mentioned when we started about that conversation with mom and dad. If you are part of the top 3, I imagine that there's got to be some of your schedule that you have to,
Yeah.
can't do that anymore. How do you make those choices?
Well, I actually had to start making those choices before Apple Blossom even started, because I'm in a lot of clubs that start competition in January, and because of Apple Blossom and that whole process, I had to miss some of those regional conferences. And it was just something that I figured, it's my senior year, why not? Like, why not try and have this really new, cool experience in my senior year and get that from Wenatchee before I go off to college? And a lot of the programs that I've been doing for 4 years, and I'm still very much a part of them. But it's time for a new experience.
Well, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
Be sure to watch the Cashmere Valley Bank Royalty Selection Pageant live on the NCW Life Channel Saturday, February 10th, beginning at 6:30. Brought to you by the Antique Mall of Cashmere. Come find your treasure. Apple Valley Honda, where every new Honda comes with a lifetime warranty. Auville Fruits, home of the Gee Whiz brand, where passion meets flavor. Bay Equity Home Loans, your home for loans. Boswell's Home Furnishings, inspiration and comfort for every room in your home. Collins Fashions, real clothes for real women in downtown Wenatchee. Merry Maids, relax, it's done. And Schmidt Electric, serving the West since 1960.
I'll be with you in apple blossom time.